What's up, guys, and welcome to Let's Talk Physical Media. This is the weekly show where we talk about everything in the world of physical media, all the news and everything that is happening. I just got home, so we're going to get right into it. I don't know how many people are here with us live right now, but if you are here, welcome. We're going to get right into the news. If you're watching on the replay, appreciate that as well. Throw the video a like. Maybe subscribe if you're seeing this for the first time, share it. So every single week, if you're new to the show, we're going to talk about everything in the world of physical media as far as the news goes. We got a lot of pretty good stuff this week. Maybe not a crazy week overall, but what we did get, pretty exciting stuff. So again, make sure you guys throw that like button in. Sorry about that. Just turning my phone off and bringing up some notes and everything. But anyway, let's the big one. I won't waste any of your time. Is apparently we're going to be getting X, Pearl, and MaXXXine on 4K Blu-ray from A24. Now, this isn't confirmed or anything. There was just a post put up by Barnes & Noble on their website this past week that saying, hey, we're going to be getting X, Pearl, and MaXXXine, the Ty West X trilogy. It was labeled on 4K Blu-ray. So then it got pulled down, unfortunately. So I don't know if it's going to be happening or not. It was listed for October 21st, which is the same day that Eddington from A24 is coming out on 4K Blu-ray. So there is the possibility that this is true, and they're just waiting to do like a press release in like maybe the next week or two. I mean, hey, another thing we'll be talking about just got announced last week for a September 23rd release, but I still do think these are coming. I don't know if this is 100% going to happen now because they pulled it so fast. I really hope so, because X, Pearl, and MaXXXine are some of my favorite. It's one of my favorite trilogies of all time, even though like a lot of trilogies, the first two movies are really good, and then the first one's like, it's all right, but I do owe it another shot. I know, just saying. I know, Jason, I'm fully well aware of that. Unfortunately, I had the show scheduled, and maybe I can like distract people's minds. That's always the best thing. That's what we do here on the channel. I noticed that this is a very it's a hard time to go live, but I also didn't know if people were maybe wanting to distract their mind a little bit, talk about some physical media, talk some movies. We could always do that. Talk whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm always here for that. But yeah, it's definitely a lot going on here in the United States. If you're not, in the United States and you're watching from the UK or Canada, you might not be aware of everything that's going on right now. But yeah, pretty big deal. But obviously, like this is the time when we have to, unfortunately, we have this time scheduled in. So we'll just still keep talking physical media if you're here. But if you guys want to talk about other things, always wanted, this is a live show. That's the whole thing. I'm here to interact with you guys. You feel in a certain way, you want my opinion on anything, you can keep asking. It's fine. I'll keep just doing the news here. If you're just here to distract your mind, I'm here for that too. That's what I'm, my whole thing here is to entertain you guys. I'm here to provide entertainment. I'm not trying to, doesn't have to be just a straightforward, let me list you what's out here in the news in the world. Let's just we can talk with each other, how we're all feeling. Like, I know that this is a shitty day with everything that's going on, and it's a sad day, so I don't really, we don't have to dwell on it, but it's really up to you guys. I'll let you guys dictate how we do these kinds of things, because obviously I respect all you, love all you guys, and yeah, it's a crazy day in the world. So yeah, back to in the world of physical media. This was a movies that came out a few years ago. They made X and Pearl at the exact same time. So they made X, had some extra time, some extra money. They made Pearl. And these all star Maya Goth in the lead role as Pearl. She plays an older version of herself in X, then the prequel Pearl, and then MaXXXine, she plays MaXXXine Maya Goth. So she plays two characters. We see MaXXXine in X as well. So this trilogy, we're hoping it's still going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray on October 21st, like that Barnes & Noble listing said. But again, nothing official yet. And the only thing that makes me think it might not be true is the fact that Eddington was already announced for October 21st. Usually A24 is one of those studios, like a lot of boutique labels, Scream, Shout, Arrow, in the sense that we're going to have this stuff announced prior to it all coming out. And they usually don't let things trickle out like that. So I'm not entirely sure, but I sure hope so. It looks like Jeff's here. What's up, Jeff? Glad you can make it in here, buddy. Good evening. Good evening to you too. Again, guys, throw this video a like. I know like it might be like a weird time for me going live. Like Jason said, I completely get that. We schedule these shows every Wednesday for 6:45 p.m. and you can't plan for things that happen in the world before that. So I know that like that's on everybody's mind. Everything that's happening, it's on my mind too. It's like it's just what's going on, right? But anyway, these ones are coming to 4K Blu-ray. The other big news is this: The Sound of Music coming to 4K Blu-ray. This pretty much got announced right after last week's live show, but this is actually going to be coming out in 6 days, if you could believe that. We already got this one announced and coming from, we knew this was coming. Disney kind of teased this earlier in the year, but now we have the official release date. Disney really doesn't give you a lot of runtime up to those release dates, huh? 2 weeks for the Tron and Tron Legacy 4Ks, and then this one coming out 1 week later. I am not the biggest Sound of Music fan, so I don't know if I'll actually be getting this. If I do, it'll probably be sometime down the line, because it's not a movie that I've always enjoyed. I remember the first time I saw this was in music class, and I was like, yeah, it's all right, but never really one of my all-time favorites. But this is one of the most famous films of all time, celebrating its 60th anniversary. Absolutely deserves a 4K restoration. And the screenshots that I've seen, it looks like night and day between the previous Blu-ray. So it looks like they really put the effort in into bringing us a beautiful 4K Blu-ray. So that's awesome. If you're somebody who's a fan of the Sound of Music, this is I'm sorry about that. This is absolutely one you are going to love. So I'm really glad to see that one coming. Hopefully you guys all were able to get your Tron and Tron Legacy orders in as far as the steelbooks go. The UK, I noticed them. I was on the Atomic Movie Store yesterday. They're going to have the standard editions for about $35, and they come out a little bit later, I think 2 weeks after the steelbooks come out here in the United States. And I was pricing it out, and it still just made sense just to get the steelbooks for Tron. I have that order in through Amazon, so you'll get reviews for those next week. Also, I'll have a review for Kroll next week. Let's see. What's up, Ben Rondo? Glad you can make it here. Our channel director, channel producer. What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, Sound of Music, though. I mean, hopefully you guys, if you're interested, that is coming. Here's one that I'm really excited, and I can't believe the pre-order is already up. You can pre-order the Steelbook. I don't know if this is going to be the official artwork. I hope not. I hope that I like the interior, but I hope it's not just plain black. I don't think it is. This looks like, just clearly placeholder art. But One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, celebrating its 50th anniversary. This is the Best Picture winner from 1975. Same year that Jaws came out and Dog Day Afternoon. But if there was any movie that deserved to win Best Picture that year, and, Jack Nicholson gives a world-class performance along with so many other great actors like Brad Dourif. Christopher Lloyd makes one of his first appearances in film. So does Danny DeVito in this movie. So it's a stacked cast from top to bottom, but still Jack Nicholson gives the most standout performance. And, Nurse Ratched obviously is another one of the most famous characters, to the point that people still refer to a nurse as Nurse Ratched if she's a real piece of garbage. But that's going to be coming out. I don't know if they had an official release date yet, but you can get your pre-order in on Groove already. So that's awesome, because how many of us have been waiting for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest to come to 4K Blu-ray? So this is pretty awesome. This will get a 4K Steelbook release. Not sure if it'll get a standard edition. I imagine so. And if you don't really wait on these Steelbooks, they sell out pretty fast. I waited for Weapons because I was like, I don't want to buy it. And then unfortunately it sold out pretty quick, and I kind of got burned a little bit and ended up getting the standard edition when I really probably would have wanted the Steelbook on that one, even though it didn't blow me away. But hey, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest coming to 4K Steelbook. That's awesome. So really excited for that. And now these two movies, no official confirmation, but it looks like we're going to be getting Jarhead and U571, the submarine movie, on 4K Blu-ray as well. I believe those are both Universal properties. Jarhead's interesting. I remember when that movie came out, the Jesus Walks song was huge by Kanye West. So that was a big deal. The movie itself, I thought it was all right. I wasn't the biggest fan of Jarhead. I know a lot of people really liked that movie when it came out. I'm actually not the world's biggest war film fan, if you can believe that. Obviously a bunch of them come along that I enjoy, but I'm not somebody who seeks out every single one of them, and not every single one of them is my favorite. Like Black Hawk Down, I actually read the book for that too, and the movie itself, I'm like, it's all right, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it, but didn't really love the film that much, even though Ridley Scott directed it. Jarhead was another one where I enjoyed the movie. I appreciate the performances. Young Jake Gyllenhaal there, man. Look at that poster. God, it's been so long. I mean, I remember Jake Gyllenhaal from way back in the day. You guys remember the movie Bubble Boy? He was in Bubble Boy. That was definitely the first time I ever saw Jake Gyllenhaal. Now look at is that a year? That's a year after Donnie Darko. Bubble Boy was 2001. That movie's funny. Some jokes in that movie will not hold up, though. I'll tell you that. But yeah, supposedly we're going to be getting these, and I believe these will be November releases. Here's one that's interesting. I don't know how you guys feel about the artwork, but it looks a little AI to me, if I'm being honest. But Casino coming to 4K Steelbook, celebrating its 30th anniversary. And from what I understand, this disc will be exactly the same as the 4K Blu-ray that came out years ago, which I've done a review for Casino here on the channel as far as the Blu-ray goes. It's a good Blu-ray. I don't know if it was anything that would knock your socks off, but it's definitely a very good Blu-ray. It would have been cool if maybe they gave a new some new paint on it, give it that new kind of feeling, make it worth picking up the 4K Steelbook for people who already have the 4K Blu-ray. But this is going to really come down to if you have the film or not. I wouldn't recommend this personally unless you're somebody who absolutely wants that 4K Steelbook. Who the hell knows? But I think it's nice, even though it looks a little AI. I kind of like it. Still don't know if I would go with this if I already have the 4K Blu-ray. I don't know if I would go and double dip. It's really going to come down to how you guys feel about Casino. I mean, the movie itself, it's a classic. What's up, Acres of Movies? How you doing today? Glad you could pop in, Stacy. Have you seen Nurse Betty? Thoughts on that one? I haven't seen Nurse Betty, if I'm being honest, but thank you for asking. But yeah, Casino. As far as this movie itself goes, I'm a big fan. It's one of my favorite Martin Scorsese movies. I've always gone back and forth between this and Goodfellas. I've pretty much settled on Goodfellas being my favorite Martin Scorsese film. I mean, it speaks a lot to me, but I'm also a big fan of Vegas. So there's a lot of stuff that this movie checks as well for me. Obviously you're bringing back a lot of the same people, and De Niro, Pesci, everybody. And then you bring in Sharon Stone, and she might have won an Academy Award for this. I can't remember, but she is great in this movie. Even, what's his name? Is fantastic. I was Lester Diamond, who plays James Woods. James Woods is fantastic in this movie. Just plays a perfect sleazeball. It makes perfect sense. It works so well in this movie. He's pretty damn funny as well. I mean, there's a lot of funny lines. That's the thing about a good Martin Scorsese movie. He knows how to really pull at your heartstrings and also really make you laugh while looking at some of the most violent things you'll ever see. I mean, when the guy you hear that? Sounds like somebody's crying. Where he had a big mouth before when he was talking shit about my friend, when he stabs him in the neck. Casino also is one of my favorite shot films of all time, so that's pretty cool that's going to be getting the 4K Steelbook treatment. Here's a better look at it as well. If you want to get a look at the front. Looks nice. And then here's something pretty interesting. I still haven't seen The Wild Robot, but this is for the UK. Because here in the United States, believe it or not, we've talked about this a little bit in the past. The United States physical media still doesn't sell as well as it does in the UK. It does a lot better overseas. That's actually why Tron and Tron Legacy are only getting the 4K Steelbook treatments. The same thing that happened with Master and Commander. Same thing that happened with Tombstone. It's just they always kind of, we see this with Warner Brothers too. Lethal Weapon, Nightmare, not Nightmare Before Christmas, but The Exorcist. They always get special treatment in comparison to like what we got, and that's just because it sells a lot better over there. I hope we get it. I really hope we do get that. Adolfo Rivera. I really hope we do. Nice to see you, buddy, popping in on the live. I hope we do, because I think it really deserves it. It's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? But again, like I'm saying, like with The Wild Robot, I wouldn't be surprised if Cuckoo's Nest gets a very nice, beautiful collector's edition overseas, where here in the United States, we might not get that. And then you would have to import it. And like we talked about last week with tariffs, could end up costing a pretty penny. But if you're a fan of The Wild Robot, which is one of the best animated films from last year that I still have not seen, I could definitely say that this looks like the way to go. Doesn't this kind of give you Iron Giant feelings if you kind of look at it in a certain way? I think it looks pretty beautiful. Love the live shows. Thanks. I really appreciate you popping in. Whoops, my phone is ringing. And it says it's from a Mr. Likely, a Mr. Scam Likely. I love the shows. Thanks. Would you rather be on a hot air balloon safely watching the events of Mortal Engines or Mr. 3000 or Hook or Sister Act? Mr. 3000 is great. That's funny. I think it's a very underrated Bernie Mac movie. But if I was from a hot air balloon, as far as watching these things, Mortal Engines is a good call too. I'm gonna go with Mortal Engines on that one. And you guys can drop questions into any kind of physical media news you want my opinion. You can jump in there. Anything you guys want my opinion. I'm cool with that. You can see through if you choose. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I would definitely need that. And let's see, what else do we have in here? So we'll remove this. And here's something interesting. If you guys are Tom and Jerry fans, we got the Tom and Jerry. This is the Golden Era collection coming to Blu-ray. I was a Tom and Jerry fan a little bit. I wasn't somebody who watched, obviously everything about Tom and Jerry for the most part had already come out by the time I was growing up with these things. Wasn't there a Tom and Jerry live action movie that came out a couple of years ago? Could be wrong about that, but I feel like there really was. But this one, for all the Tom and Jerry fans out there, we're going to be getting this entire beautiful collection. Oh, for Friday and Gravity, you would pay $60 for Ultimate Collector's editions of both. Man, what happened to Friday? Wasn't that on the Warner Brothers list that kind of leaked earlier in the year that was going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray this year? I really got my hopes up for that because the Friday Blu-ray, it's just a director's cut, which ruins the beginning of the movie. Like, really ruins some of the best jokes in the entire film. So I was hoping that we get a 4K Blu-ray this year. And I guess it could still happen. I would pay that. I agree with you. When a movie like that, a movie I absolutely love, I don't mind spending the extra money. That's why I spent the extra money on the Nightmare on Elm Street collection because I love the franchise, so I'm willing to spend the extra money. Gravity is another one. I heard that rumor pops up like every 6 months without fail for like the last 3 years. I've been hearing that Gravity is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. And then, the news just stops. I don't know. That's one thing that always kind of happens with physical media news. We kind of sometimes talk about some stuff and then it just never comes to fruition. You guys remember a few months ago, I want to say like in June, we talked about Miami Vice coming to 4K Blu-ray from Shout Select. And then, we even had artwork and everything. It was on Shout's website for like a day, and then it went off. And then the rumor was that I think Paramount was going to do the release. We just haven't heard anything about it. And that really sucks because a lot of us, including me, was really looking forward to that Miami Vice coming to 4K Blu-ray from the 2006 one directed by Michael Mann, Jamie Foxx, and Colin Farrell. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for that movie. I just think it's very it's an interesting movie. It's directed by Michael Mann, the guy who gave us the original Miami Vice, the very slick looking show from the 1980s that I love that movie. I mean, I love that show. So when they were doing the movie, I was excited. I still think that movie's really good, but they talked about it and then we haven't heard a goddamn thing since. And it really pisses me off because I'm sure it annoys you guys too, because that's a movie a lot of us were looking forward to. Same thing kind of happened pretty recently with what was that? Catch Me If You Can and Minority Report. We hear things and then it doesn't come to fruition. What else did you? We need Children of Men. Yes, we do. Green Lantern too. Come on, WB. Yeah, Children of Men is another one I'm very surprised about because a lot of people would consider that one of the best sci-fi films of all time. I mean, classic shots and that classic wonders. The story itself stands the test of time. You got Michael Caine in that movie. Goodbye Ruby Tuesday plays in that movie. I mean, it's a 5-star film, man. And these kinds of movies I don't get to really talk about too much here on the channel because I'm waiting for a 4K Blu-ray release to finally discuss them, and we haven't gotten them yet. Jeff says, I seen my Miami Vice in theaters. I actually really enjoy it. I think it's a very underrated film. I really do. I remember when it first came out, like I think people have softened up a little bit. People were really hard on that movie when it came out at first. I don't think that they understood what that movie was going for. It kind of was that at that time where Michael Mann was doing like those digital films. We saw this with Collateral. I feel like this was a better looking version than Collateral. Everything was working on with the early digital cameras with Collateral. I think he peaked. Some people argue with the audio on that movie. I personally really like it. Ed Gives a Movie said, do you want Bill Murray commentary for what movie most? If Bill Murray was doing commentary, first of all, it's got to be sarcastic as hell, right? I would love it on, I don't know, does he have a commentary track out there? But, if it was any movie, I would probably want to hear like on like What About Bob or something like that. Like something a little bit, or Rushmore. I'm sure he's got one for Rushmore. Hey, everyone, says Faith Williams. Oh, Faith Williams. I might know that name. Very familiar. That's my wife, guy. What's up, Faith? Glad you could pop in for a second. Yeah, we're talking some movies in here. Let's see. Troy 2 Ultimate Collector's Edition. Yeah, listen, Troy's one I'm surprised about as well. I have a buddy of mine, and his favorite film of all time is Troy. He'll admit he's like, a big Brad Pitt fanboy, so he kind of gets excited for any Brad Pitt movie. I've always felt like Brad Pitt's gotten a bad rep, which is unfortunate because the guy seems like he's a very good actor. I just think a lot of people label him as a pretty boy, but I think people have come around, especially after playing Cliff Booth and winning the Academy Award, and I think people have started to realize, he's more than just a pretty boy. He's actually a pretty damn good actor. Think about it. Tom Cruise has never won an Academy Award. Still unbelievable. But Tom and Jerry, I kind of got off track on Tom and Jerry. This is pretty cool. One thing I've always wanted to concentrate a little bit on is actually TV shows and physical media. It's one blank spot for me that I really hate is that I feel like with the way streaming services are going, we're heading in that era where it might actually be cheaper and worth it to pick up more TV shows on physical media. That's something that my buddy here, Jeff John Doe Juggalo, knows all about because I know where is he? He's right over here. But Jeff John Doe Juggalo, who has a great YouTube channel as well. It's one thing I know that he is very big on is collecting TV shows, and because it makes sense. It really does. It's one thing that's always kind of fallen the wayside because you don't know when you're going to run back to it. But when it comes down to it, these streaming services can pull these shows at any time. So you're better off like maybe like the small investment up front and then you own it forever, just because you never know if it's going to be on a streaming service in 10 years. And who knows what the streaming services are going to be like in the next few years. They're all really struggling. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of get a back to basics kinds of thing where, a bunch of them kind of start teaming up together, because I don't know what's going to happen. Everything going on with like ESPN right now and WWE and the NFL Red Zone, it's nuts. If you're a WWE fan, having to have ESPN, Peacock, Netflix, and then USA Network still airs the live versions of SmackDown. That's insane. If you want to be a WWE fan, it's going to cost you how much money? So I don't know if streaming services are the way to go anymore. So I think that collecting TV shows on physical media, if you're a fan, might actually be a pretty good idea. I like that Miami Vice gun part with Dominic Lambadozzi. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. The gun they shoot in those scenes is good. I agree, and it's a very good movie. Let's see. What did Akers say? Can you review Gattaca? Anthony Edwards, Linda Fiorentino. I haven't watched Gattaca in years. My cousin Matt just rewatched that actually. I love Tom and Jerry. Who doesn't love Tom and Jerry? It's just, there was a certain generation that grew up with it. I kind of like, if it was on, because I come from the generation, you kind of had to watch what was on TV before social media and the internet. So when I was a kid, you had to watch what was on. A lot of times Tom and Jerry was on, and I would still enjoy it. Here's one. I don't know if how many of you guys are interested in these movies. What is this? The Agatha Christie collection, which is pretty cool. We're going to be getting all these on 4K. I think you can buy them separately too. Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, The Mirror Cracked, and Evil Under the Sun. 2 of these have had actual remakes that Kenneth Branagh did. He also did another movie that isn't in here, but I think it's still based on an Agatha Christie novel. I'm not too sure which one, but that was the horror one starring Russell Crowe that came out last year. But based on this, and then these are I think these are the original ones, the ones from the 70s, if I'm correct. Could be wrong. Surprise, Conjuring made around $180 million first week. That is crazy, actually. To talk a little bit about the box office and everything that's happening there. The Conjuring, the last one in the Conjuring series, just shows you the amount of goodwill that WB has built up with these Conjuring movies, which I have always felt, other than the first 2 movies, are very generic, easy, palatable horror movies. I don't think that there ever been anything too special. I'm personally just a fan of the first one, and I actually might, after rewatching it, think that the second one is the best one. Some of the Annabelle, the 2 sequels are pretty good. I hate the Nun 1 and 2. I really don't like those movies. Never saw The Curse of La Llorona, but the Conjuring movies, the first 2, good. The third one was all right. And then Last Rites came out, and I really didn't expect this movie to do as well as it did. But surprisingly, it made, I think, $180 million worldwide and that's just promoting it as the final Conjuring movie, bringing back Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as the Warrens one last time. They got asses in seats. And it just also shows, again, that the most bankable genre is horror. And I didn't even realize this. I was looking at my top 10 films of 2025, and I think my entire top 5 is horror films. Even movies like The Monkey. I'm like, that movie is still one of the best films of the year. But right up there, you got Sinners. You got, which also made a lot of money with Sinners. That blew box office doors too. No, for an original horror film, that movie made a lot of movies. So did Weapons. Weapons made a ton of money. I think it made $40 million on its opening weekend for an original horror film, where the first one, Barbarian, this guy's first film, still not released on physical media, but the trailer did enough work, enough goodwill was built up, and the horror fans, they come out. Even if it's not a great horror film. Like, I haven't seen Last Rites yet to know for sure if it's a good film or not. But it did well enough the franchise has done well enough over time that people came out. The horror fans will always come out for their movies, and they came out for this, and that's awesome. And they kind of, like I said, I felt like the Conjuring 4K Steelbook release that came out and the 4K Blu-ray release was there to help promote the Conjuring Last Rites, and hey, it worked. I mean, I knock WB all the time on here for a lot of their bad business decisions and David Zaslav, but if I read that correctly, I think that's 7 films in a row that WB has opened at over $40 million at the box office, at the domestic box office in a row, which is a record. So they're doing something right over there. but then they always just like do something like in terrible management that really like bothers me. And that's always like kind of the thing. But I have to understand it's a business. It's just I always hate that business mentality because I always feel like it hurts the people working there and it hurts the consumers, and it never actually ends up hurting the people up top. But I guess they're on the right path, doing some great work. The 4K Blu-rays, I think they've done a phenomenal job this year. Right now, I think they're leading the pack when it comes to studio releases. I think they pulled ahead of Sony, if I'm being honest. The quality has been great, and that's because the same studio that does the finishing for Arrow Video, Fidelity and Motion, also does the finishing, does the 4K transfers, for Warner Brothers. And I think that's exactly why. Plus, the audio has been great, but they didn't go that route with The Conjuring, and that's why I was a little disappointed. But for the most part, that's what they've been doing. Which is the next WB theatrical release? At the end of the month, we get the new PTA movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and what's her name? Something Taylor. Tiana Taylor. That movie's coming out in theaters. One battle after another, which I've heard little things. I don't like to watch trailers because I like to go to these movies blind. It's Paul Thomas Anderson, Leonardo DiCaprio. I was already sold. Tiana Taylor starred in one of my favorite movies from a few years ago, so the cast had me locked in. All you had to do was say Paul Thomas Anderson, and I was going to go anyway, so it didn't even really matter. But I'm hearing that, this is really the first time PTA is concentrating on, big action set pieces. It's going to be released in IMAX. I've heard good things, so I am really excited for that coming out at the end of the month. So that's WB's next, and I believe that's their last release of the year. So, they've had a pretty good 2025. But obviously, we're starting to get into it's the fall. We're in spooky season mode, but we're also coming up on, the studios dropping their awards films, the films that they are going to be trying to jockey for position to win some Academy Awards, win some Golden Globes. So that's everything that's going to be coming out in theaters in the next few weeks. I mean, we got a lot tonight, tomorrow night. Actually, no, it's Wednesday. So yeah, tomorrow night, I'm hoping I'm able to see it because I get out of work at 6. And I got to be sorry about my dogs. And I got to be at the movies at 6:15, but it's AMC, so that means it starts at 6:45. So that I'm going to be going to see The Long Walk, which I cannot wait for. I've heard nothing but good things about that too. Hopefully that ends up being good. I should have a review for you guys on Friday or Saturday for that. Next week, that movie with Marlon Wayans, him coming out, produced by Jordan Peele. Excited about that. And then one battle after another. So September looks like it's a pretty damn good month as far as theatrical releases. Obviously, we've talked about the physical media releases and how much we're getting there. So I think actually I banged through all the news on that. So if you guys have any other topics you want to throw out there for me to talk about, I think I covered all the physical media news as far as like everything. Today's been a crazy day. Haven't been able to, get into everything. So if you guys have any other topics, I'm just trying to see if there was anything I haven't been able to get to because I haven't actually looked at the the internet very much today because like I said at the top, crazy day in the world, that's for sure. We can always go to bluray.com and share that and we can see what else is going on, talk about some topics. Let's see, go to bluray.com. Is there anything you guys are really excited about coming out in theaters? I'm sorry. We'll share the screen with you guys over here. Ooh. No topics, but hello. What's up, mellow fellow? Isn't it late for you over there, buddy? I appreciate you popping in here, but it's got to be pretty late for you, man. Excited for a new crime comedy. Golly G. Williams, a do-gooder gets caught up in a movie heist. That's a good one. What's that movie coming out? I know Mr. Smelly Potato's really excited about it too. One Journey or something like that, or One Big Journey. That looks pretty interesting. What the hell did I just do? I don't know what I did. All right. Let's see. Acres of movies. Where will you see The Long Walk? So I go to AMC's, and AMC, if you guys, I recommend this highly if you're a movie fan, the AMC A-list pass. So if you're somebody who likes to go to the theaters, not everybody does. I understand that. Not everybody is a theater person. I know if you're a fan of mid-level media, like where he lives, like they kind of get screwed. They don't get the prime theaters and they really don't take care of anything. But the AMC out by me, we do have a Dolby theater. We have an IMAX theater. So I am fortunate. Don't have IMAX 70 millimeter, but I will go see these movies at AMC. I think it's just in a regular, as they like to call it, just a regular digital theater that I'll be seeing the Long Walk in. It's not in a premium theater. It's being labeled as an AMC artisan film too, so it's kind of being labeled as an art house film. But I'm seeing that at AMC. I'm pretty excited about that. Just after midnight. I appreciate you popping in here, buddy. You didn't have to do that. I hope I'm not keeping you up. Thank you so much, though. I really do appreciate it. What movie do you want special features for that don't have it? Well, I wanted Ace Ventura special features when we got the 4K Blu-ray from Shout Select earlier this year. I wanted some new special features on that. I definitely didn't want a bare bones release like we've had for the last 20 years, but beggars will be choosers on that one. Hopefully they make up for it on the. Actually, I've read the extras for the mask. I just want new interviews with Jim, man. New interviews with Jim Carrey. Are you excited for any new games coming out? Jeff, I don't know if you saw my live show yesterday morning with Dennis, but I'm really getting that pull to play video games a lot lately. And Metal Gear Solid Delta that just came out, like I want it. I want it bad. I'm getting that itch. I want to play Metal Gear Solid. Like it's Snake Eater. It's a remake of Snake Eater, and I love that movie. I love that game, the original. I love the Metal Gear Solid franchise. So it's giving me that old itch because with having the YouTube channel, I've really like kind of fully committed to like movies, but I'm a big video game guy. You guys seen all my videos, how I have the Xbox Series X in the background. I mean, like the last 4 years from doing YouTube, it's kind of fallen off, but I kind of want to rekindle that old flame. It's like rediscovering an old love. And I've always just been a big gamer. So I kind of want to go back, and there's always stuff coming out. I know I watch your videos on the Switch too. I'm like, do I get a Switch too? Maybe I'd like a Switch. Because my wife loves the original Switch. We have the Switch Lite. She's a big Animal Crossing fan, so she's a huge fan of that. What else is coming out this year? Like I did buy the new Madden. I'm a sucker. I know that the new Madden, every year it's the same game. It's usually shitty, and I usually get mad that I feel like I got ripped off on it. Like, and it's tradition. That's what I've been buying every single Madden since they've come out since 2001. So it's almost like one of those things where I can't help myself. I'm a big football fan. It's the new Madden game. They update the rosters. I'm just, it's like good, harmless fun. I can throw that game on whenever and have a good time. It's like WWE 2K. It's the same thing. Like those are kind of like arcadey enough games that I can just throw them on and play for a little while. But getting that itch to get into a nice old-fashioned story, like an RPG. Like I saw Keanu Reeves talking about Cyberpunk 2 yesterday, and I'm like, as long as they do it right this time. I'm like, okay, all right, if we can do that, I'll be on board for it. He said he wants to be involved. I think the original Cyberpunk, once they fixed it, is a fantastic game. I do still want to play the Oblivion remake because Oblivion was one of my favorite games as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully I can free up some time this year, and I can actually get to play them a little bit. I don't follow new films so much, and I get that, Mellow Fellow. I know not everybody is a huge fan of new movies and all the new movies that come out and going to see new movies in theaters. Believe me, I'm somebody who's like kind of had a love-hate relationship with modern film. But you got to do the work, because if you do, you could get rewarded, because like every once in a while a classic comes out. And this year I feel like we've gotten spoiled. There's actually been a few good films, like a few great films. Like I think Sinners is an amazing movie. Weapons, amazing movie. So we've gotten some really. Eddington is one of my favorite movies. Can't wait to see that on 4K. So if you still go out, you'll find some good movies. It's just not all the time. I got Madden on Switch too. It's all good. It's okay. So you understand. It's just that I don't know. Like I know, I get it. I watch the reviews. What's his name? Is it Angry Joe who does the? He puts out a review pretty much every year for Madden, flipping out. I'll watch it, but I'm still that sheep that will go over and buy Madden every single year. I'm sorry. I love football, and it's kind of like part of the season. I can't help myself. If you were going to the mobile Criterion closet, which was recently at TIFF, I saw that. What movies would you pick? So I am a big Criterion fan. I've always said that's my favorite boutique label because I am into those kinds of films. So if anyone, I should have grabbed these off my shelf. You guys kind of can't see it, but there's all my Criterion stuff right along the top there. I don't know if you can see that because I blurred it out, but that's all my Criterion collection right there. And if I was going to pick like anything that you should grab out of it right now, my favorite releases are still Malcolm X. I still recommend Malcolm X 4K Blu-ray release to anybody who will listen. That's one of my all-time favorites. I think that's a beautiful 4K Blu-ray. It's an amazing film. A French film, The Worst Person in the World. That movie I watched when I turned 30 years old, and it really hit me like a ton of bricks because it's literally about like that time in your life. And I watched it, and these were feelings that I was going through. Like, what have I accomplished this far in my life? And it didn't feel very good to me. But the movie itself kind of spoke to me on that level, and that's one that I've absolutely loved. Also, the Three Colors trilogy. I recommend the Blu-rays, not the 4K Blu-rays, but either way, or the Three Colors trilogies from Krzysztof Kieślowski is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Again, these are French films. That's why it's called the Three Colors trilogy. It's in the colors of the French flag. So you got three colors: blue, red, and three colors: blue, white, and red. All of those are great. The another great all the Wes Anderson movies I can recommend if you're a fan of Wes Anderson, but if you're not, I get that. Deep Cover, it's a Blu-ray, but it's one of my favorite noir films of all time, starring Lawrence Fishburne, Jeff Goldblum, and it's directed by Bill Duke, who a lot of people are going to recognize. Bill Duke. You know that face if you've seen Commando or Predator or National Security. You know Bill Duke, but those are the kinds of movies I would grab out of my Criterion collection. Mellow Fellow said, "Not at all. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be. I appreciate it though, buddy. I know that it's late for you. Hey, Mozart's Ghost here. What's up, buddy? I'm glad you could pop in. Imprint is trying to bankrupt me, but other than that, I'm good. Yeah, I know. I see what's going on. Wasn't expecting The Last Seduction. Had to cop that. I get it. And I mean, Imprint, they've been on a roll lately with their expensive releases. That's for damn sure. After last week, we talked about this on yesterday's show, but it is physical media related because we talked about it last week about what came out. The Imprint 5-film 4K Steelbook collection with a jack-o'-lantern for Halloween. That was about $350. That was only supposed to be $1,000. And then this past last few days, they've announced that they've upped it to $2,000. Of course, that kind of makes people feel like they got burned who ran out to get the original $1,000. And it makes you think, are they going to actually print more than 2,000? Now it's kind of like that trust thing. Is it going to do that? It's like kind of holding us hostage. It's like what I talk about, like what they do with the supply and demand, like with the Trons, basically what Disney and Sony have been doing. Just like putting out a little bit and then feeling it out, which I guess you don't want to have too much of a backlog, but it affects us because the price will never drop. And that's always what really sucks the most for us. Do you know the channel 4K Kings? They just gave me some very high praise for the artwork I do, and honestly, it boosted my confidence as I was considering deleting my channel again. Mellow Fellow, never delete your channel, man. You are a great artist. Seriously, if you guys aren't following Mellow Fellow, this is him right here. He does some phenomenal artwork. I've said it for years. I'm like, he should reach out to the Criterion Collection himself because he does sometimes better artwork than they actually do, and they should be paying a guy like you. So definitely never delete your channel, buddy. You're doing great work. I truly, really appreciate it. I know that. So definitely don't ever. I didn't mean the right name. Hey, listen, I get you. The worst person in the world is not French, but Danish. Okay, see, I made a mistake there, but that is a fantastic film. I appreciate you fixing that for me. Did you get the Halloween? I kind of want the original from Ara. I have the what do I have? I have the Halloween box set that came out years ago with all the on Blu-ray that had the complete collection with the Rob Zombie films that didn't include, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. Then I bought the Shout ones that came out, the Scream Factory ones. I bought 1, 2, 3, and 4. I bought, which other ones did I buy? I think that was it. And then I bought, that's it. And then those are the only ones I actually have on 4K Blu-ray except for the new ones. So yeah, I didn't buy the new Imprint ones because it's only 1 through 5 and I already own them. So I couldn't justify double dipping. I don't have that kind of money, even though I'll admit they're beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And it's great. You could have it out during spooky season. Favorite mid-2000s drama. Ooh, mid-2000s drama. That's a toughie. Didn't Brokeback Mountain come out in 2005? Should have beat Crash. That's probably the best one from that era. But I think mid-2000s, like 2003, 2004, 2005. Off the top of my head, probably that. Gran Torino was good too. But it's definitely probably Brokeback Mountain of that time. Should have won Best Picture. ML, where can I see some of your stuff? I'll be gentle, I promise. Great. I'm telling you. I don't know if you can click over here because I'm on StreamYard, so I'm not actually on the site. But if you can get to his link, he's got a great YouTube channel. Definitely. I've seen Halloween, and that was on VHS. Oh, wow. That's the first time I saw Halloween. I have to tell you guys the story how I saw Halloween 2 before I saw the original Halloween, because I come from the Blockbuster era, and my mom, being my mom, I'm telling you, my entire life, she does things like this. The VHS box art, in her defense, didn't really look like Halloween 2 because they kind of put the 2 in the center. So it kind of just looks like Halloween. But I asked my mom, we're in Halloween. She brings home Halloween 2. So I watched Halloween 2 before I watched Halloween. And it didn't seem right either. I was like, don't know. This doesn't seem that. Hmm. I know you're not into musicals, but I had to pre-order the Sound of Musical. So, do you have any interest? I'm not going to be grabbing that right away, and I am trying to get it more into musicals. This guy I work with at my regular Joe job, he's been giving me some musicals to watch just because he knows that I'm like not a fan. I always like to try movies. That's the whole thing with me. I might not love it, but I always like to give him a whirl. So even if I don't like a musical, I'll always give it a try. I've seen The Sound of Music though, so I was never a huge fan, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. But if you want a recommendation for a good cheesy 1980s musical that maybe you have never seen, Back to the Beach. It's so cheesy. It feels like Grease, but in the cheesiest way. It's from 1987. It's phenomenal. If you've never seen Back to the Beach, I think it has a Paramount Presents Blu-ray for like $13. I can highly recommend it. That's a musical I never thought I'd see. Ian says, glad you mentioned The Worst Person in the World. I'm seeing the director's next movie, Sentimental Value, next month. So excited. I will definitely be seeing that as well. Yeah, The Worst Person. I'm telling you, that certain movies catch you at the right time. Maybe I'll do a video on this, but like, I've always heard the phrase, and it's so true. Movies don't change, you change. So, like, sometimes movies you cool on movies, sometimes you warm up to movies, but certain movies they find you at the right time in your life. And The Worst Person in the World was definitely a movie that I needed to see when I had just turned 30. I mean, I was having a hard time with it. Like some people, like you just don't feel like you hit the place in your life, and a lot of people when they turn 30 kind of go through that. And I was struggling, and the movie it spoke to me. It really did. It just made me like. It helped me. Like, that's the power of film. Sometimes it can help you right here on YouTube. Yeah, there. Okay. You guys were talking. No problem, buddy. I mean it 100%. You are a great artist and you deserve your recognition. I think you made a wise choice. I could have gotten Halloween set to use money for like 10 other 4Ks. I don't want all my eggs in one basket. That's kind of my mindset. And that's how I'm trying to be, especially with like October. My God, I actually did when I pre-ordered Weapons from the Atomic Movie Store. I also pre-ordered the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I got the UK version of that, so I won't actually be getting that until October 20th when it comes out on the 7th. But good news, guys, I did just find out that my Spawn 4K from Arrow did ship, so I could actually probably have that review out for you guys next week, along with the Trons, as long as everything goes according to plan. Julie Andrews had the pipes for real, so right, she wanted to do My Fair Lady. I mean. It's Julie Andrews. You can't argue with that. I mean, listen, The Sound of Music's an incredible film. Just because I'm not hating on the movie, it's just it's not necessarily my kind of film. And La La Land is one of my all-time favorite movies, and that happens to be a musical. You know what I'm starting to realize? I got to be a little bit. There's certain musicals I do like. I just don't like it when they're singing the entire time, or sometimes it breaks up the film in an unnatural way. Like I'm not a big West Side Story fan. I've seen that twice. But there are some musicals that I do really like. So I can't always say I hate music. Like there's always an exception to the rule, right? So sometimes I like musicals, sometimes I don't. I'm not a fan of rom-coms, but Moonstruck I still think might be a and that's exactly. Like there's always something. Like I know some people don't like westerns, but there's always a couple westerns that everybody likes. We all have like the certain genres that we're not like too big into, but hey, you got to try the movie. Eventually, something slips in there and might change your opinion on the entire genre. Like, I don't think most people as kids like Westerns, but as you get older, I think you learn to appreciate them because of the nuance involved. And, like, literally, they're just most of the good ones are great character studies. It's just about what it's like to be a human. So I just think that those are some of the best. Ooh, this is very true. Walmart had those glow in the dark releases. Picked up It 2 film collection on Blu-ray for $13, but it's not 4K. But whatever. Hey, listen, I do love those. I actually watched It Chapter 1 last night with my wife. We wanted to watch that, so we'll watch it Chapter 2 pretty soon. It Chapter 1 is a great movie. Great movie. But hey, those glow in the dark cases are awesome. So I don't fault you for grabbing those at all. That's awesome. What about Phantom of the Paradise? Brian De Palma. That is a good movie. That's one that needs to come to 4K. That's one of the very few Brian De Palma movies we haven't gotten on 4K Blu-ray release. We've been very, very, very fortunate. I do need to get what's it called? Do I have one? I might actually have everyone that they put out on 4K Blu-ray. I just don't have the Arrow video version of Dress to Kill. I have the Kino Lorber one, and they sent me that in a broken box that I still haven't replaced. So that's on me on that one. But Dress to Kill, Blowout, I still think is De Palma's best film. Obviously, we've gotten Scarface and The Untouchables, but we definitely need Phantom of the Paradise. And I mean, that mask is like, I always get like a Batman Returns vibe from that mask. Dragnet special features and Aykroyd commentary would be good. Absolutely. I mean, Dan Aykroyd's just one of those guys. he can give you he'll give you a bunch. Just seems like a very genuinely nice guy as well. So yeah, that would be cool. Dragnet. Um, let's see what else we got going on in the world of physical media and movies in general. Are you guys excited for The Long Walk or that movie Him coming out with Marlon Wayans? I'm very interested in that. I didn't know the premise of that movie. The trailer, like I saw it when I went to the movies last week, and I was like, I don't know. I don't like how this one's edited. But then when I heard the premise, I'm like, this is very good. It's like basically, a guy meeting his mentor and like try to become a professional athlete. And like, I guess he's not as much, I think the tagline is don't meet your heroes. I get that. Do you keep a list of your 4K wants? I scratch them off as we go along. Yeah, I have a bunch that I kind of keep on wish lists, and then if they kind of like drop on sale, I'll grab them. But lately, I'll be honest, but like the high prices and like how everything costs so much money. I really only buy movies lately if I'm gonna review them here on the channel, like because then like I haven't even reviewed them here on the channel yet, but I bought Brazil on 4K Blu-ray the day it came out and intending to review it, but I was just like so backed up. I still haven't reviewed it here on the channel, but I have it. And actually, I watched half of it like when I got it just to test out that 4K. And if you're somebody who's interested in Terry Gilliam's Brazil, because I do want to do a review eventually fully for it and go over it, that the visuals are stunning on it. So it's actually one of the best looking 4Ks of the year. So you were asking about like the Criterion closet. That's what I could recommend. As long as you're a fan, not everyone's a Terry Gilliam guy or a Terry Gilliam girl. I totally understand that because he's got a very distinct style to him. And, a lot of those close-ups, a little bit weird, but I've always been a fan of like 12 Monkeys and what's the movie with Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams? Why am I drawing a blank on that? That movie is phenomenal too. That got a Blu-ray at 4K Blu-ray upgrade. Nicholas is here. What's up, buddy? Love the movies. I just can't convince myself to double dip. Already have 2 on 4K. That's the problem, man. Is like, can you do it? It's hard to double dip. It's hard to justify the double dip. That's the whole thing. When movies like costing like so much money, like I get it. There's some beautiful packaging that comes along, but still gets me. Fisher King. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, that's it. I have the Blu-ray for that. I haven't upgraded to the 4K. I've upgraded a couple of Blu-rays to 4K recently, like Mulholland Drive, and I don't know if I needed to upgrade that to 4K. It wasn't the world's biggest upgrade, so I'm worried about getting the Fisher King for that very reason because I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be the world's biggest upgrade. The Blu-ray's already pretty good. Mark's movie menu. I'm definitely down for The Long Walk. Have you heard anything on Dust Bunny? I haven't heard anything on Dust Bunny actually. I haven't heard a thing yet. I know it's coming to 4K though. I saw that from Kino. Very excited though about The Long Walk, especially how people are saying that it's a very good movie. I'm very excited. It's got like a 94% of Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't mean anything, but I'm still really excited. Criterion Blu-rays have done so well, it's hard to want to upgrade to 4K on many movies. What's funny is I've actually gotten burned more by Criterion, even though they're my favorite, from upgrading from Blu-ray to 4K than any other company. So it makes me really think sometimes before I do it. Like Mulholland Drive was it was a little upgrade, but I didn't really think it was necessary to upgrade to 4K Blu-ray. And it's the same thing like Paris, Texas. I actually thought the Blu-ray was better than the 4K Blu-ray. Same thing with the 3 Colors trilogy. I actually thought the Blu-ray was better than the 4K. And it makes me like take a step back. Maybe if I have the Blu-rays, I won't get the 4K Blu-rays because their Blu-rays, like you said, are so good. Like, and they don't give you anything new. That's the one thing with the Criterion collection. Like, you're only going to get that visual upgrade. You're not going to get an upgrade to the audio. You're not going to get any new extras. And for the most part, they won't even give you any new packaging. They have, like, given us a digipack, like Barry Lyndon, for instance. They gave us a nice new digipack because they put the extra disc in there. And actually, okay, it made it feel worth it. And I thought that was a good 4K Blu-ray upgrade. Not everyone agreed with me on that, though. So it's a whole thing. I know you enjoyed Dead Space, so I recommend looking into Chronos. Oh, I did love Dead Space. I bought the remake of that, so maybe that's one I should definitely grab for this fall to play. As far as I play on the Series X, but I am considering getting a Switch too. Not gonna lie, especially with the prices of the PS5 and the Xbox. I'm like, if I'm gonna spend that kind of money, I kind of miss playing some Nintendo games. My mom hates Naza. She went to a Covenant and had daily beatings from the. Oh wow, that's terrible. As a child, so she hates Julie Andrews as Nun in her 20s. She was way told by someone that she looks like her. Oh, that must have been definitely tough for your mom to hear. But I mean, listen, I don't blame her. That's tough. All right. I'm a massive Terry Gilliam fan. The man and the film. I love 12 Monkeys. I mean, Terry Gilliam's an amazing human, like as far as like his work that he done before he even became a director. But 12 Monkeys is one of my favorite time travel movies. It's such a unique one too, because it doesn't like make it. It's not a slick movie. It's like it's even kind of gross, but like that's the thing with Terry Gilliam. He gets those close-ups and they're kind of gross looking. They're like a little bit zany. I guess was the way to describe his movies. They're a little bit strange. But if you're a fan, I think you like all of his movies. If you're not, you're probably not gonna like them all either. Hello everyone. We need Ed Wood and Fight Club on 4K. Disney, please listen. Aaron, I have been asking for Ed Wood on 4K Blu-ray for a long time. I think people forgot about it. Like I never hear people bring up Ed Wood anymore. And I don't get it. In the world now where we get so many movies about making movies, why do people not talk about that movie? I don't know. And that's also, I believe, one of the only times that Tim Burton didn't work with Danny Elfman on the score. I think they were going through something at the time, but he came back. I need Night Flyer on 4K. Night Flyer. Oh my God. Could you imagine? That would be awesome on 4K Blu-ray. Fight Club, I don't know how we haven't gotten. Actually, a friend of mine who loves Brazil was a lot sick the other day, just thinking about how underappreciated that film was. I never understood. Although I don't know if you guys are a fan of the Nostalgia Critic or the guy Doug over there on Channel Awesome, whatever you guys want to call him. I think he said that Brazil was his favorite film ever, which definitely surprised me. But Brazil is a very underappreciated film. I mean, I get the arguments, I guess. Like, you could be a little bit confused if you're not paying attention, but you also don't understand the meaning of the film. It's just like that bureaucratic bullshit. I love that you need the files for everything. These like little performances. Robert De Niro is like great in his little role in there. Oh my God. I think it's beautifully shot. I mean, it's got these sleek looking cells, but like sets, but they suck the color out of it. I don't know. I mean, I really truly love Brazil. I think people really should hopefully I was hoping that the 4K would regain an appreciation. I guess I got to make that review. Maybe that's what I'll do. Because I'm waiting for all the other movies to show up. Maybe I'll do a review from Brazil in the coming weeks, or maybe I'll save it for around Christmas time, because it's kind of a Christmas film. Not really a happy, joyous Christmas film, but definitely a Christmas film. Has anyone seen Reign of Fire? We need that on 4K. Ben, I completely agree with you. I don't know. That's one hopefully we get pretty soon. Switch 2 is a lot of fun. I'm going live later to talk some Switch 2 stuff. I'm gonna have to pop into your channel then and see what you're doing as far as that. Yeah, listen, I need to get back into video games. I mean, I just, the problem with YouTube is it's like if you start talking about something else, they kind of punish you for it. So it's like I can't even like I would love to like just make a video on like a video game or something again, or like maybe my top 10 favorite video games. But that's not really like what the channel is. But man, I miss them, and I appreciate you, Jeff, for like keeping that alive, still talking about them, and like being loyal to them, because like I'm glad that you never fell out of love with video games. Like that's something I miss them. I feel like it's the one that got away. Like when I was a kid, video games were right there with movies for me. I was a huge gamer. I literally still think to myself, I remember being a kid being like, I'm gonna play video games for the rest of my life because I just love this art form. And here we are. It's just kind of what happens as you get older. You gotta kind of pick the time that you have. Paris, Texas from Curzon was fantastic 4K upgrade. I should have maybe tried theirs. I don't know what the colors on the Paris, Texas one, at least for I've only seen the Criterion one. It just did not look like the Blu-ray. The colors look a little too different for my taste. Now, again, this could be just personal taste, but when it came to Paris, Texas from Criterion, I thought the Blu-ray was perfect. So when the 4K came out, I don't know, I was a little thrown off by it. I think Paris, Texas is one of my all-time favorite films. So, when that was coming out, I could not wait. Actually, I'm due for a rewatch of it because I think the 4K came out about a year ago, and I don't know. That movie has my favorite scene in film history in it, which is basically just the two-way mirror scene. It's just two characters talking about their relationship. I think it's absolutely beautiful. That rise makes that movie a 10 out of 10 film. I love when you rank the top 4Ks at the end of the year. Physical media award season is fascinating. I always find something that slipped by. I love it. That's one thing I always wait for the end of the year, because you get to do the top 10 4Ks of the year, the top 10 films of the year, and then we get to jump into like the top 10 movies we want on 4K. I like the end of the year roundups too. I get to watch other people's channels too and like see what they're talking about, because the thing with physical media is you can still follow other channels. You don't have to just be loyal to one channel. Be loyal to everybody's channel, because we all can't review everything. So, I only review the stuff that I can afford to buy, and I'm obviously going to pick things that are like might interest me. Of course, I'll pick things that I know that interest you guys as well. But there's people out there that are going to review some of the most obscure things out there, and maybe that's a great 4K Blu-ray that slipped by me, or maybe I've picked up some 4K Blu-rays and not the other channels did. That's the good thing about like the end of the year stuff, is we all get to like chat with each other and pick our favorite stuff. I used to think Terry Gilliam could do no wrong until I got the Zero Criterion. I'm not going to sit here and say Terry Gilliam is perfect. I mean, everybody, we can. I thought Carl. I always say Quentin Tarantino's never missed, but even Death Proof, tests you a little bit. Definitely tests you a little bit. I just think as an adult, there's less time for video games. With movies, at least if you've seen them before, you can do something while you're watching. That is very true, and that's the problem. Is I'm talking to you guys now. I just literally worked from 8 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon. I literally came home, turned the computer on. I'm talking to you guys. After it's over, I'm gonna eat dinner. I'll put a movie on and go to bed. I just can't get in. Order something, Faith. Here in the she's asking. Get Senor Taco. Senor Taco's a local place. Taco salad, chicken, no pico. Now you guys know my order from Senor Taco. But yeah, that's also true. If you've seen the movie before, which I will do, even though I do feel guilty sometimes not paying attention to the movie, but you can put a movie on in the background if you're doing something. So that's one thing that's also very, very true. If you're somebody who just, want to peek over there while you're doing something else, like sometimes I'll throw something on while I'm editing. You can do that. Video games, it's very tough to set time aside for it, because I also like to get invested in a video game. Like that's just always something I want to concentrate. So I used to play RPGs like that. Those are very time consuming. Maybe I have to just learn to play shorter games, get back into like those classic 8-hour games. I don't know, but I just miss them. I used to think Terry, I reread this one. My bad, guys. I'm sorry. English cinematographer, Roger Pratt, film Brazil. Tim Burton's Batman and 12 Monkeys, which are all beautifully shot films. And Tim Burton's Batman is one of my all-time favorite films, especially as far as the visuals go. He is phenomenal shooting that movie. And, Batman and Batman Returns have very different looks. I've always said it. I prefer the look of Batman. I prefer the like grittier, darker look. I think it fits the style of Batman 89, especially everything that Tim Burton was going for with that movie and the way that looked. I absolutely have always loved it. It's been just a personal favorite of mine for pretty much my entire life. I've always enjoyed it. And 12 Monkeys, like I said, the guy has a certain eye, a certain distinct look that he has that has always kind of fit in with me. I miss those days. I feel like we talked earlier this about like the Conjuring movies. The problem with the Conjuring movies to me has always been they have that generic horror look that we have, especially the Nun movies. Like those were generic horror 101. The blown out, overexposed lights in the background because they're shooting in front of green screens. We used to be a society. We used to go out and film on location, build these big, beautiful sets. And I just feel like that helps movies like age better. Like when directors go out of their way today, even like Jurassic World Rebirth, they went out of their way and they shot that movie on film. That costs a little bit of extra money. And let me just say, I might not think that movie's a 10 out of 10. I'd say it's like a 7 out of 10 film. It looked great and it sounded great. I imagine that 4K Blu-ray that people have right now, it's probably a great 4K Blu-ray as well, just because of the elements involved. And shooting something on film, it adds so much more to it. It just makes it look so much less digital. I mean, listen, you can do a lot with digital, but there's just nothing like shooting a movie on film. And I think we've kind of come to that point now. Speaking of Terry Gilliam, I recently got the original Adventures of Barry Munchausen from Criterion in a 3-film set. Did not know the original is Sezek film. Oh yeah, actually I haven't gotten that one yet. There's so many Criterion films that I need to catch up on too. That's all. I have over 100. And what are they up to now in the Criterion collection? 1,100 and something, I believe. So a pretty damn good amount, if I'm being honest. So they've done some pretty damn good work, but I haven't gotten everything yet. But yeah, Terry Gilliam, he's one of those people. Not everybody's a fan of him. He's an auteur is the best way to describe him. And it's a lot like Wes Anderson. If you're not on board with his certain vision, you're probably not going to love it. John, I did order the sub I was saving. Oh, that's awesome. I'm really happy for you, Mozart. You got it. How is it? I'll probably nerd out all Saturday, play with room location and configuration, then finally watch Blade Runner 2049. That's a perfect movie to test that out, too. That's a very good one. And surprisingly, I don't know if you have it, Chapter 1, but I was watching it yesterday. I was pretty impressed with the audio. So that might be a one if you want to test out your audio, or Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise, another one with great audio. But yeah, that's awesome for you, man. I'm very happy that you grabbed that. That's the thing. You save up and it paid off, buddy. I'm happy for you. It's hard to upgrade your systems, but I'm glad you did it, man. I'm happy. And you're gonna have a great Saturday too. Is spending time with the movies, baby. My favorite 4K film so far this year is The Fall. I'm sure I have to get. I can't think of any other 4K that visually could top it. I gotta actually check that one out before the year's end. Then, I mean, I know that my Uncle V, who's the channel director, is a big fan of that movie. So I should get that 4K. I think the best visuals that I've seen this year, just on strictly on visuals, is actually The Nice Guys from Second Sight. That the visuals, and Brazil's right up there, just strictly on visuals, like take out everything else. I think that those are the two that are right up there for me as far as the best visuals. I also really like the 3 Warner Brothers releases for Clint Eastwood: Dirty Harry, Pale Rider, which I think is the best of those 3, and The Outlaw Josie Wells. Those are also beautiful visual releases. I put those right near the top as well. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, all the Dallas trilogies, like in general, they are still very good transfers. I think those are, overall they got everything. Those are like check every single boxes. But I think best visuals for me is The Nice Guys and those 3 Warner Brothers releases. I think right now those are top 5 for the year. I said 24. Oh, God damn you, Battlefield franchise got me messing up my movies. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant thinking of Battlefield 2042. The Nice Guys, USW release or Second Sight. Second Sight. I never actually saw the Warner Brothers release, but I know right off the top that the Warner Brothers release is just a 2K intermediate jumped up to 4K Blu-ray. That's it. It's a 2K scan that they put on 4K, nothing new. Second Sight is a completely new scan. So I went with there. So I don't know what the WB looks like. I can't comment without actually seeing it for myself. But knowing that it's just the same scan that came from the previous Warner Brothers release, I imagine that it's, not going to look that great. Just throw some HDR over it. It probably looks a little bit sharper, but the colors on the Second Sight release compared to the original Warner Brothers Blu-ray that I compared it to, it's night and day. I mean, I'm thinking about In the Bowling Alley, the colors on the wall. And that's the sign of a great 4K when you're just looking at the rooms and everything. Like I always said that a very underrated 4K is The Dead Zone, directed by David Cronenberg, the Shout Factory one or Scream Factory release. Like I'm literally, the doctor's talking. You're supposed to be focusing on the doctor, but I'm looking at the bookshelf behind him because now I'm noticing every single book because the colors look beautiful and everything is so much sharper. That's the sign of a good 4K Blu-ray as far as the visual transfers go. Because there's sometimes where the audio gets the better end of it and the visuals it just doesn't work out. Maybe I'm a fool for choosing to get Blu-ray now that I have a 4K projector, but I'm upscaling them so well. No, you're not a fool for that. Listen, there's certain movies I'm not going to upgrade to 4K Blu-ray. For example, I just watched Evil Dead and Evil Dead, the original and the remake. I have the Blu-rays. I'm probably not going to upgrade those to 4K Blu-ray. They look fine. I don't think there's a reason. I think that they're already good enough Blu-rays. They're not movies I run back to, so I'm fine with the Blu-rays. You don't always have to upgrade. I get that. You get that FOMO a little bit, but yes, upscaling is a real thing. And sometimes there's movies, good examples as well. If you have the Independence Day Blu-ray, I think that's a phenomenal Blu-ray. I don't think you need to upgrade to 4K Blu-ray for that one either. I try and tell you guys what everyone does. If your sound works, more power. Exactly. Don't feel bad. You never have to feel bad about what you do. RoboCop, a 4K scan, the Blu-ray is incredible. Yeah, I have RoboCop. I have the Arrow Video Blu-ray Steelbook, and then I bought the Arrow Video 4K Blu-ray. RoboCop's one of my all-time favorite films. So yeah, that's one that I had no problem double dipping with. And I got RoboDoc, that 4-hour documentary on RoboCop. So anything RoboCop related, I'm a big fan of. And you'll notice I'm only a big fan of the original. I don't have RoboCop 2 or 3, and I don't have the remake, but the original RoboCop, that's a 5-star, 10 out of 10 masterpiece. So that's one I've always really enjoyed. And the Arrow Video 4K, that's also been one I've been kicking around about doing a re-review on as well. So almost gonna get out of here. Gotta go eat dinner, like I said, but I hope you guys enjoyed this today. I know that with everything going on in the world right now, it might be a little weird jumping on here and me going live. I know Jason said that at the very beginning, but we had this scheduled, and hopefully this is a nice distraction from all the news of the world right now for you guys, and talking some movies, talking some physical media. I appreciate all you guys so much. So hopefully this was nice for you guys. Evil Does Rise at 4K is great. The sound is outstanding. Mark, amazing. I think that might be the best Atmos track out there. It's so layered. I think about the elevator scene so much. Um, Favorite meal scenes in movies. Ooh, Big Kahuna Burger from Pulp Fiction. Not great news today. No, no. Very bad news day today. And like, this isn't a political channel, so I try and stay away from all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to piss anyone off. That's not what I do. I share my views sometimes on Facebook under my personal account, but that's really it because I'm not going to sit here and preach to you guys. But everything going on in the world, it's very sad. Let's just put it that way. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to come on here and preach to you guys my feelings. That's not what I'm here to do. Just, I don't like violence. Let's put it that way. Have a great night, John. I love leaving the real world to be here in your chat. Exactly. That's what we're here to do. It sucks, but we got to try and distract our minds because, there's nothing we can really do. So we got to try and like move on with our lives, get on with the day, and just hope that things get better. That's really it. So it's just fun to chat with you guys. I like to say I have some great people that jump in here. I mean, all you guys. I mean, Mark's Movies Menu, Mozart's Ghost, John Doe Juggler. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. Mellow Fellow, make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel, especially if you want some custom artwork. Definitely reach out to him. I did on the live show here show off some stuff that he sent to me. And Jeff is going to be live later today, like he said, talking some Switch 2 stuff. So subscribe, head over there. Everybody else who popped in here, Aaron Click, thank you so much. Ben Rondo's in here. Hopefully I answered all your stuff, Ben Rondo. So Ben Rondo, make sure you guys, Nicholas Head, thank you all so much. Dan was in here. Everybody was in here. Ian Bullock, I appreciate all you guys so much. Hopefully you guys have a great night. Enjoy it. And I'll see you guys next week. Next Wednesday at 6:45 p.m. Next Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. for the Let's Talk Morning Show live with Dennis. And enjoy your night, guys. I'll see you guys around. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. And anyone, I tried. Thank you. You guys always make me feel good. Have a great. I know it's not enough. It'll be a little bit longer next week. I promise. Night, buddy. Night, guys. See you around.